Hey everybody, it's your boy SergDragon, and welcome back to another edition of the Heavens Monsters podcast. With me is Xavier Hill.
Once again, MVP is in the ring, so that can only mean one thing. Big things popping, little things stopping. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the view, because the Heavens Monsters podcast is for people better than you.
And with that, we are going to review Monday Night Raw on January 6th of 2020, as well as January 8th of NXT. So let's hit it off. First off, and let me move this because this is making too much noise. Oh yeah. You want an armrest, brother? Yeah, take an armrest.
Here we go.
Alright, so you can use this as an armrest too. With that said, we start off the show with none other than the first appearance of the new year.
Oh my goodness, Brock Lesnar.
And we have, first and foremost, Paul Heyman first saying, Happy New Year to you, bitches. I'm like, what the
hell? That shit is not PG.
Nope. I saved that. I posted that on Instagram. and Facebook wouldn't allow it. Nope. Facebook kept cutting me off. I was like, okay, screw it then. But anyway, that said, Paul Heyman would actually announce on behalf of Brock Lesnar that for the first time ever, Brock Lesnar, in a long time, should I say, will be entering this year's Royal Rumble, coming to Houston, Texas at the Minute Maid Park
in the next 2 weeks.
And will be number one entry to fight everybody. So the question is, will the WWE title be on the line? That was not said or not shown that we will have it.
Yeah, they didn't say nothing about the WWE title being on the line.
Because if he did get eliminated, would that mean we have a guaranteed new?
Could be.
That sucks, because I think he's doing this because he wants to probably fight Bray Wyatt. The Fiend. That would be good at WrestleMania. Trying to combine both titles. Next up, we have the United States Champion Andrea versus Rey Mysterio. And the title would be on the line, but sadly, thanks to the outside interference of Zelina Vega, who got in the way and got hurt, Andrade won the match, but ultimately removed Rey Mysterio's mask while after the match presenting it to Zelina Vega as an apology. So in nothing but disrespect to Rey, and afterwards Rey jumped him maskless, without a mask, I say, and gets his mask back. Gets his mask back. What the hell is that coming out of my mouth? What are your thoughts on that, bro?
I didn't want Rey Mysterio's mask to be taken off his face.
Are you happy knowing that he got payback?
Hell yeah.
You want to take the next one?
Next.
Whoa, he's got his glasses.
Yeah, I can't read well without him. Next, we have the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Viking Raiders, versus the Street Profits and the OC in a triple threat match. The Street Profits came to Raw looking to change the conversation in their triple threat bid for the Raw Tag Team titles. They certainly did that, opening plenty of eyes against the reigning champs, the Viking Raiders, and personal contenders, the OC, only falling short thanks to the narrow failure to close. Even though the Profits went home empty-handed, it was hard to argue they weren't one of the driving forces of the match, as the Raiders and the Good Brothers had to adapt them on the fly. Montez Ford went move for move with the fleet-footed Ivar early in the match, and Angelo Dawkins nearly sealed a win single-handedly down the stretch. But a behind-the-back tag from Carl Anderson took the Profits out of action and instigated a massive brawl that only ended when Anderson got caught in a massive splash from Ivar, who scored for the win for his team. The Street Profits did indeed change the conversation. The focus, however, remains the same.
Mm-hmm. Winner of that match, the Viking Raiders. So, next thing that comes next is Asuka confronting Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch. Becky comes to the ring ultimately to just call out and say her piece on what she's going to do to Asuka to defend her Raw Women's Champion at Royal Rumble. Asuka comes out speaking Japanese and gets knocked out by Becky Lynch and just walks out, and Asuka is fuming, just fuming, steaming, and whatever word you want to use, just mad as hell. Who are you hoping to win, Asuka or Becky Lynch?
Hopefully. It's kind of hard for me to make a decision,
right?
So I just want to see a good fight between these two.
I would say Asuka would be a good pick because she hasn't been the Raw Women's Champion. She's been the SmackDown, but not Raw. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be fun. Next up, we have Eric Rowan versus a green wrestler, meaning he's a rookie, a local talent, KJ Orso. And oddly enough, before that, he would be Eric Rowan would be stopped and backstage by Mojo Rawley, saying, "I gotta at least know. What the heck? Can I take a peek?" He takes a peek inside and freaks, and he doesn't say what it is, but he is just constantly freaking out, running, cussing his mouth off, saying, "What the hell? Why? You gotta be kidding me! Why?" Just running. So Eric Rowan ends up going up against this guy and defeats him, and then he shoves his face under the whatever the hell is, putting it up against the cage, and the guy's face is mauled. He has blood coming down his face, and he's running. It's in horror. I'm like, what the heck is in there? We don't know. Next up, we have AJ Styles versus Akira Tozawa. Xavier, will you take it?
Yep. AJ Styles versus Akira Tozawa.
Speak up.
File under matches you never thought you'd see. Akira Tozawa versus AJ Styles, a completely random pairing that turned into a rout thanks to, in part to Styles' lingering anger over his rivalry with Randy Orton. Styles landed an early phenomenal forearm against Tozawa, but unwilling to end the match there, opted to play with his food by executing his own variation of the Viper's hanging DDT and an impressive RKO. Unsurprisingly, Styles scored the victory, but with a bout against Orton looming 1 week down the road, it's planned to see where his focus is and will be until he gets satisfaction.
That's weird how he ended up using the Coral DDT and RKO. That was weird. Very weird. Yeah, and he ends up doing his pose too. He does this. Like, what the heck? Okay, what the hell happened to my phone? Okay, it was lagging. There you go. I thought this was legit. I thought they did this, but then they go and tell us this. Apparently, Bobby Lashley and Lana come out to get officially married real quick. What the hell? What's your thoughts on that?
What? I thought they were already married, but unfortunately, the wedding got ruined thanks to Rusev and Liv Morgan.
Mm-hmm. So they go ahead and have this marriage officially done, and Rusev ends up having a video chat with them on the Megatron. In which case, he gives them a gift of this little montage of their moments with each other and the wedding, which is mostly just being ruined. He's smiling, he's happy, and they're mad as hell. Lana is screaming, but Bobby Lashley tells her to shut up because he wants to say his piece to Rusev and challenges him to a match next week where he and Rusev will have one more match. And Rusev gets serious instead of no longer smiling and laughing. He shows him that he's going to be the Bulgarian Brute and beat the living hell out of Rusev and leave whatever's left as a gift to Lana. I was like, dang. In other news, interrupting R-Truth's interview, we have Liv Morgan stating that if Lana's going to be in the corner of Bobby Lashley next week, then she will be in Rusev corners next week. How would you feel about that, bro?
Yeah, I would like to see Liv Morgan be on the side of Rusev while Lana's on the side of Bobby Lashley.
Next up, we have Charlotte Flair brawled with
Sarah Logan.
Thank you. There you go.
Charlotte Flair's match to the Women's Royal Rumble and beyond continues apace, with Sarah Logan emerging as the latest superstar to be trampled under the Queen's diamond encrusted boots. Logan, unwilling to be made an example of, jumped Charlotte before the match and put on an impressive showing despite the match never officially started. But it was her disrespect to Flair's robe that drove the Queen into a fury, leading her to retaliate and leave Logan down with barely a sweat broken. We're 1 week closer to the Royal Rumble, and it's increasingly looking like Charlotte's to lose.
Yep. So no match, it was just straight up brawl. Yeah. That's what I said. In which case, do you believe Charlotte has it in to win? We had Asuka, and then the next one after, Becky win the Royal Rumble. Charlotte has not won a Royal Rumble yet, and she wanted to. So who do you think might win this Royal Rumble? Actually, we don't even know how many women we got. That sucks.
Here's a 30 women's Royal Rumble match.
You think they're going to pull out some women from
NXT?
And NXT UK?
Yeah, both NXT US and NXT UK.
It would be nice if we saw some more legends, but there's no guarantee this time around since the first two had them. It would be nice. You know, our boy T-Money and you would definitely like Trish Stratus. I beat you to the punch right there. And I would like to see Lita. I'm not going to lie. Lita was a hard fly, but there's no guarantee. Other than that, we'll have to wait and see. Because we don't know. There's going to be a lot of women. Enough to say. We're going to see that. Also, we don't know if the Bellas might make a return too, because there was talk about that. So with that said, we also have Drew McIntyre going up against No Way Jose and declare for the men's Royal Rumble match. He defeats No Way Jose, of course, and lays waste to the Congo line. One after another, he just wastes them. Spear, this, that, and he just whoops all of them. The poor saps. It wasn't bad enough he beat No Way Jose, he just kept beating up all the other guys. He even said, I like the hamburger guy, but nothing personal. I was like, okay, what the hell? So, Drew McIntyre, along with, I'm trying to remember, we got Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Ricochet, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Eric Rowan. All those competitors and more will be in the Royal Rumble along with Drew McIntyre. So, wow. This is already getting good. When you got Brock Lesnar in the ring, you better bring in all the All-Stars. Yep. Sorry to anybody who's considered B class. Y'all about to get wrecked by Brock Lesnar. I feel sorry for who is ever number 2 if they ain't a heavy hitter. I hope to see Braun Strowman. I really do. Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar in that match. Next up, we got Aleister Black versus Shelton Benjamin. After which, Shelton Benjamin gets defeated and gets fade to black, but after which, Buddy Murphy attacks Black after the match and lays him out. Daggone. I thought they were done, bro.
Yeah.
They ain't done yet. Buddy Murphy says no. Next up, and I'll hand it to you because this is the main event.
All right.
It would be
the Fat, CM Punk, Eric Hartman, Canadian Bacon, Kevin Owens versus the Samoa Submission Machine, Samoa Joe.
And special guest,
the world's largest athlete, The Big Show.
Woo!
versus Seth Rollins and the AOP.
Mm-hmm.
When you're looking for a third man to battle Seth Rollins and the AOP, you go big. Literally, Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe took their 7 days to lead time to recircuit none other than the Big Show to their cause, unveiling the world's largest athlete at the last possible second in the main event bout against the Monday Night Messiah and his two disciples. And even though the makeshift trio of heavy hitters only got the win via disqualification when Rollins smashed Show in the back with the chair, when he was ready to double chokeslam AOP, selecting Big Show was still a wise choice. KO, Joe, and Show got the last word with the world's largest athlete downing Rollins with a knockout punch during a post-match brawl moments later. Seth Rollins refashioning himself as a literal savior certainly lines up with his heroic over the last few weeks, but given the events of tonight, he might want to reconsider him turning the other cheek, since there are plenty of people on the current roster and beyond who will be lining up to punch it.
So Big Show making his triumphant return. Will he stay? No word on that. And will he be a part of the Royal Rumble? That's also yet to be said. As far as mentioning WWE backstage, The Miz showed up and was mentioning certain things about his career and what he's liked, and how he also mentioned how he got airtime in this. He also says, particular for one person who looks to The Miz for guidance, where he didn't believe somebody would ask him for guidance, would be, how can I get airtime? How can I get wrestling? You got the little airtime, you did do it, because while he makes jokes and just plays a little music and sings some lyrics, Elias is definitely good right now because he's a babyface. So definitely people want to hear him talk. And of course, we'll talk about Elias in the Friday Night SmackDown and 205 Live edition later. But unlike that, we also have Booker T, Renee Young, Paige, and Christian talking smack on Seth Rollins. He was on the show not too long ago, but hearing him being called the Messiah and the leader of the roster, they're looking at this and like, how many names does this guy have? He's the architect. He's the this. He's that.
The Beast Slayer.
The King Slayer. The Monster Slayer. The Fiend Slayer. How many nicknames are you going to have before it's over? He's rebranded himself. That's what they say. They rebranded himself over and over. He's like, dude, you just get over yourself. So Booker T is not liking that one bit. He's like, oh yeah, I got so much stuff to mix up with. And either which, Booker T gives a shout out to his boys, the Usos, who came to his school. He was his students at the Reality Wrestling, and to help out Roman Reigns as of last Friday night. Now, before we get to NXT, would you please, my brother?
So, while he's looking up NXT for January 8th, it's time to do a shout out to all the members of the Heavens Monsters podcast, starting with these three. Myself, Xavier Hill, Mike Henry, and Andre Mitchell. A link to our 3 YouTube pages will be in the descriptions down below, as always. And remaining shout out to Terrence, aka T-Money, Renee, Chris Petrie, Pharaoh, and Delvin.
All right, I got it. Perfect timing.
Yep.
So, with that said, we kick off the night of NXT with an announcement. We would have a fatal four-way dance, fatal four-way match between Keith Lee, Dominic. I guess I'll mention it later. It's for a number one contendership of the North American title. I'm about to say world title. It's not NXT title. But to kick off the night, now that was interesting. We would have Rhea Ripley come out as the new crowned NXT Women's Champion only to be bombarded by one entrance after another wanting to stake their claim to being a number one contender for her title. We would have people like Toni Storm, who came from NXT UK, the current champion, NXT Women's Champion, what's her name?
Rhea Ripley.
No, not Rhea Ripley. Kaylee Ray. And also, we would even have Io Shirai and even Bianca Belair come out and state, I know I can beat you, I beat you, and I sure as hell know I can beat you. And she smacks the hand out of her. And here comes Candice LeRae coming out, and Rhea Ripley's like, well, let me guess. You want to fight too? So do I. She punches Bianca Belair ready to fight, and it becomes a freaking brawl where Rhea Regal has to come out and state that it will be a 6-woman tag team match between the baby faces of Rhea Ripley, Toni Storm, and Candice LeRae versus the NXT UK Women's Champion, Kylie Ray, Bianca Belair, and Io Shirai. In that match, we would have the winners of the baby faces with Rhea Ripley ultimately laying down her finishing move on Bianca Belair, at the same time shutting her up. So now, with that in mind, who is going to be the number one contender? That is left to be said. Let's see who we got. All right, brother, you want to take this one?
Nope. We have Imperium versus Forgotten Sons in the first round of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic.
Oh! Because that's how his music goes.
The 5th iteration of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic got off to a thrilling start thanks to Imperium and the Forgotten Sons. With a fatal 4-way ladder match for the NXT UK Tag Team Championship at TakeOver Blackpool II this Sunday already, on their plate, no one could faulted Fabian Aichner and Marcel Barthel for having other things on their mind. But they were able to focus on the task at hand and came out on top in a bar burner against Wesley Bake and Steve Cutler, conquering them after hitting the European bomb.
Yep, so the Forgotten Sons get a loss while Imperium get the upset. Moving on to the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic tournament. At the end of that is not only a number one shot at the tag team titles, which, considering it's going to be NXT versus their sister brand NXT UK, whoever wins has their choice of either which tag team titles. So that's going to be interesting enough. We then have the new star, Austin Theory, or actually returning, if I understand, versus, I can't pronounce that,
Joaquin Wild. Or Wildy.
And sadly, the one who went lost. That sucks.
Formerly known as DJ Z.
Mm-hmm. Got that alien getup. The Undisputed Era then goes up against Gallows in a first round of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classics, in which case it would be NXT Tag Team Champions versus NXT UK Champions. And while this was supposed to be a good match, you know, with the Undisputed Era, they were going to cheat, and they did. The NXT title champion, 4-time winning Slammy or whatever award of the 2019 awards, Adam Cole, baby, ended up getting one damn good hit on one of the guys and actually managed to give his buddies Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish the win. And they're moving on to the Classics. If I remember correctly, the Undisputed Era already won a trophy in one of the tournaments, I think last year, and now they're looking to do it again. So the Gallows ended up losing in a sore note. And it would also tell us that the Gallows will be defending their titles tonight in a four-way ladder match for the NXT UK titles. That's going to be interesting. I'm going to watch that later. Okay. You got this one, bro? I'm making sure if there was a match or not.
Finn Balor challenges Johnny Gargano to a match at NXT TakeOver Portland. The Bad Blood has reached a boiling point between Johnny Gargano and Finn Balor, and we finally perhaps have a way to settle things. NXT's Prince puts Gargano on the shelf with a 1916 DDT on the ramp back in October, while Johnny Wrestling got a dose of retribution when he cost Balor his NXT Championship match against Adam Cole last month. The escalating issue between two of the biggest standard bearers in the black and gold brand's history appears ready to come to a head next month at NXT TakeOver Portland. Per Balor's suggestion at this time, he threatened to take Gargano out for good.
Next up, we have a match between Mia Yim versus Caden Carter. Thank you. And Mia Yim defeats her only to get jumped by Chelsea Green?
Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green. And she is being represented by Robert Stone. So, the hot mess bride of Impact Wrestling has now finally made her debut in NXT and WWE. Ain't that a trip?
Yep.
That's Zack Ryder's girl. You know that for a fact. Alright, bro, let's end this. We have the main event between the Fatal 4-Way match between Keith Lee, Dominic Dozovic, Cameron Grimes, and Damian Priest. In this match, it would be one hellacious match, but ultimately be won by the limitless Keith Lee, winner of Breakout Superstar, and definitely looking forward to his future now that he has his sights on Roderick Strong, and the North American title. How do you see about that, bro?
My thoughts about that is congratulations, Keith Lee, because I got a chance to watch the last minute of NXT after I was watching AEW and the Rockets game. So I was able to watch this match. And I was going for Keith Lee, and I'm glad he got the job done.
Yeah, buddy. So, now with that said, we also have... Oh, excuse me. We also got to put on note that Adam Cole didn't have a match yet with anyone. But I have seen promos after promo after promo of Tommaso Ciampa making threats and statements to Adam Cole and his title, Goldie, that he says. He's looking to get it. So does that mean now that Johnny Gargano is facing Finn Balor and everybody else has got their matches set, are we going to see Tommaso Ciampa versus Adam Cole? Because that's what it looks like. Because nobody said anything. Not even banter about Adam Cole going to fight who is... even when he says that no one is worthy. He hasn't said nothing. What the heck? So with that said, we can't say what's going to happen. But, hey, we're getting closer to the Royal Rumble. And don't be surprised. We just might see not just SmackDown and Raw, but as well as NXT and NXT UK for both the men and the women's matches. Who are you actually voting for to actually be? What are your top 3 guys in the Royal Rumble to come in?
Braun Strowman's my first pick. The Miz is my second.
The Miz?
Yep.
Okay.
If I had a third pick, it would be anybody from NXT.
For me, I would definitely want to see Braun Strowman, like you. Agree with that. That would be a good one. Now, who I want to see in the Royal Rumble and possibly win, I don't know if it would be a good pick, but I want to see the competition of who would actually be more acrobatic. Kofi Kingston or the returning John Morrison. Those two have always brought stunts into the Royal Rumble and always seem to save themselves. So to see them make a comeback for John Morrison, I'm a tie between those two to see what they do. Because you know it's going to be crazy. It's going to be like, what the hell? How you doing that? Why? He's still in. He's technically still in. As for the last one, that would be a good one. If we're coming from NXT, because I mentioned Kofi Kingston and John Morrison, that would be on Raw as well. I mean, SmackDown. But from Raw, I can't really say anybody. But by NXT, since he's got the motivation going, I definitely would like to see Keith Lee enter the Royal Rumble for the first time ever. Also, I can't say for sure, but I have a funny feeling. I said this with T-Money, and I'm saying it with you, my brother. I have a prediction. I can't say it will happen this year, but it will happen a year soon. I predict that we will have a fifth woman to appear in the Royal Rumble men's, and it will be Charlotte Flair, because with her wanting to make history, she might do that and enter the men's Royal Rumble. Do you think I'm right or wrong?
Yeah, you could be right.
That's just a prediction. I can't say for sure it's going to happen. And as for that, I'm trying to think here. Who else? It would be cool if Lars Sullivan made a comeback, but he's still injured.
Yep.
There's major talk about Randy Orton coming in, even though he's supposed to be healing. That'd be funny. And we know there ain't going to be no more Perfect 10 because he's in AEW.
Yep.
So with that said, that'll be it for this video. Anything else to mention?
I said my two cents on it.
Alright. So you like this video, give it a thumbs up. You didn't, give it a thumbs down. Hit the subscribe button, like the content, and hit that notification bell for the next Heavy Monsters podcast. I'm SergDragon. This is Xavier Hill. About to call you Chris. And we'll see you in the next video.
Peace out, y'all.